Welcome back to the GSL HOT6ix CUP. Martosis alongside Kaldor, and we just saw a ridiculously one-sided match. Rain slaughtering Symbol 3-0.
Yep, quick and easy match for Rain there. Symbol not really with chances against his opponent. And it was only the first Protoss versus Zerg that we have today. The second one is coming up right now. And before we were coming to the studio, we were looking at it and we're like, alright, this should be probably a little bit one-sided, and then suddenly Ro8 started his trash talk, and he is mighty confident today.
Yeah, well, you know what? Here is something that is true, right? If you're not actually playing in tournaments,
nobody knows what you're doing.
That's very true, and the thing is, you actually get to practice more, because you'll be practicing for very specific things going into a tournament. If you're traveling, you're going to be practicing and traveling for that type of format, whereas this guy is like just waiting for the next Code A qualifier, so he's just like doing broad-based practice where he's like really raising his base skill level. So maybe he's really in good shape right now. I could see that being the case.
I kind of want to see Dio once again go just for 5 proxy Nexi.
And then mess that up and lose? Yeah, that'd be...
that was the biggest throw ever. When I've seen this, I'm like,
maybe. That's
pretty ballsy in this situation. And then I'm like, I'm not sure if that was a good move.
No.
Well, Dia probably learned from that mistake back then, and he's definitely a very strong player, so he proved that several times, and he's definitely a lot more in the limelight than Ro8 is these days, so Ro8 is kind of the one who has to prove something here, in my opinion.
He certainly does. He's fallen off so heavily that if someone called him like a Broodlord, Infestor Zerg, a Patch Zerg, whatever you call that type of Zerg, it's hard to defend him. But I don't think it's the case. I think that he can show some good games here today. I hope he can show some good games here today.
It's going to be difficult against Dia, who is very good in this matchup, a 66% win ratio if you look at the overall record and not only at what we see here, the WCS Korea stats. But yeah, Dia is really strong. I mean, he 4-0'd Soulkey in the grand finals of Season 3, so that's pretty impressive. The recent match that he played against Zerg is a loss against Jaedong. There was a BlizzCon with a 2-3, but even back then he took 2 maps.
Yeah, and you know what? Jaedong is unbeatable till the finals in these foreign events, so
yeah, he's on fire.
I'm totally fine with him dropping that. That's okay. He's someone that can be studied extremely heavily as well. And you know what? Jaedong being such a reactive Zerg, I guess maybe he had a hard time with that, but I don't think that Deer is slumping or anything. I think he's going to show us some ridiculous games here, and Ro8 is going to have to show his absolute best.
Yeah, he definitely does. In Code A, he showed us in the Season 3 a 2-1 victory against Classic, and that's kind of the last time that we saw him against Protoss.
Yeah,
that was October, the 4th of October.
God.
And before that, he played in August, actually, a best-of-1 against Swagger that he lost.
Well, Swagger is near unbeatable in best-of-1s.
Since when?
Well, you know the way he plays. Come on. This isn't like a great secret or anything.
I remember how he plays, but like I can't remember him being unbeatable in best-of-1.
Well,
quite the opposite, actually.
Swagger can beat people in best-of-1s. How about that? Is that a better way to put it?
I completely agree with that statement. Yeah, that's right. He has a very innovative playstyle at best-of-1.
He certainly does. He has some really cool 1 and 2 base builds.
Yeah.
So, take a look at what these guys have done. Deer, I have to say, it's a little bit more impressive what we're seeing on his side as of recently.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, we have a couple of round of 32 finishes here for Ro8. And Ro8 is by no means a bad player, but like he just fell off so much if you compare it to like a year ago.
That happens. You know what? He's been a pro gamer for a really long time. Like, I want to say 7 years now. He's been a pro. And the thing is, you can't, I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, Patch Zerg, whatever. Well, actually in StarCraft 1, he was like a macro Zerg in a time when everyone was a 2-hat community user. And I don't know if you guys know what that means, but this man has my respect forever. He's actually really legit good, even though these stats say otherwise right here.
That's actually a few of the stats that I was talking about earlier, I think. The victories that they have.
Well, he did take out Billowy, so that's good.
Yeah. But yeah, like, you know, when people talk about patch Zergs, patch toss, and whatever, it's usually That's something that people throw around like way too much. I mean,
Yeah.
people called at some point live a patch Zerg where I'm just like, what?
Oh, that's so funny, isn't it?
It's like, what?
It's like, no, that kid is made out of
This is
skill.
one of the things where you think like, do you even StarCraft? It's,
Yeah. Do you even StarCraft? All right, here's our map set. Whirlwind, Frost, Yonsu, Polar Night, Star Station. You know what? This is doable. This is doable. Whirlwind, Frost, Yonsu opener. Okay. Frost can be a pain, if you ask me, Kaldor. I don't much like Frost for PvZ.
To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Frost in
Really?
general. I mean,
Zerg, you're not a big fan of Frost?
no being like a StarCraft commentator, casting games.
Oh,
I'm
that's
not a
for
big-
sure. Yeah. I agree
I'm
with
not a
that.
big fan of Frost. Like, as a player, it's a little bit different. Then I can totally agree with you. Frost is not the worst
I
map in the world, but like,
I don't go as far as to thumbs it down, but
yeah, it's just like, in terms of the games that we see, I feel other maps are a little bit more exciting.
yeah. I feel like there's some level of mind game there as well. Like, do you try some sort of crazy cannon rush? Do you go for the early pool knowing that they're just going to Nexus first to the gateway?
Yeah.
Anyways, this map is Whirlwind. It's a map that we've seen a quadrillion times. A map that Deer is very good at. A map where Deer's warp prisms are probably going to kill the hatchery in your main base. Have I ever seen Deer play this map against the Zerg and not kill a hatchery in the main base? I don't know. I don't really remember a game like that.
Well, we're going to find out if this is the exception here. We're jumping into the first game in the best of 5 between Dia and his opponent, Ro8, in the HOT6ix CUP. Brought to you, of course, by HOT6ix CUP. And our Protoss player starts to the top left of the map in a red. Seoul's Deer, the WCS Season 3 champion in Korea. That's what the pin is for. And he's up against a Zerg player that fell off a little bit recently. Not really in the limelight anymore. Starting to the bottom of the map. Oh, come on. That was so
That's
well
a long
timed.
camera shot right
That's
there.
a really long camera shot.
Oh my god, this is actually getting awkward. Come on.
Bottom right, cross position. There we go. There we have him in all his beauty. Blue.
Galaxy Can Ro8.
Let's just go back to Deer.
He also has a pin.
Yeah. He's a champion. People sometimes forget that a little bit. From that epic ZVZ, I believe, against Symbol, where all the free units kill each other forever. Yeah, that was... I like that game. That was a good one.
I didn't have it casted.
Yep. Lucky guy. All right. Deer Grand Slam, go.
Zerg is dead. That's what we saw in the last best of 5. Let's see if this is going to hold on to that.
When Deer's in the game, Zerg is dead. And of course, if Deer wins this, that means we have a Protoss in the finals.
Yeah,
Because
then we have
it'll
a
be him versus
PvP
Rain.
in the semis.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing is, something that actually Deer talked about before we started the series, when we had the pre-game interviews. He said that in general right now he is down against Ro8 because they played in Pro League several times, and back then Deer wasn't able to win a single match against his opponent, which is actually a little bit crazy if you think about it. On the other hand, since then, a lot has happened, and Dia is now kind of on top of the world, so he's in a really good spot. He defeated Soulkey with a 4-0, he took down Life in the GSTL, he was successful against Tsu with a 4-2. So if you just go down his match list, you see a lot of matches where he killed them, and look at those two handsome fellas. That's a third as well.
Well, there's a third guy in the back, but I see one really handsome, well, two really handsome guys there, Moonglade and Clutch.
Moonglade rocking it there, and Clutch, of course. He was
Great Australian Zerg.
Clutch was showing his skills in China. His dancing skills. Chinese ladies were absolutely excited about that.
Oh, no doubt. He's a good dancer.
Yeah, his Michael Jackson was pretty cool.
But I've seen Moonglade dance as Roach, and I gotta tell you, that's something else altogether.
When you started with that, I was like, I've seen Moonglade dance. I'm like, what? Wait. How much soju did you give him before he did that?
Plenty. All right, well. Ro8 actually opened up here with a pool first. And that's something that actually we saw here from in the last set as well, didn't we, on this map?
Yeah.
And that's just because it's like almost a metagame call where Cannon Rush is actually an insanely good opener on this map. We were talking about this in the last series. But that makes the kind of counter from the Protoss player when they don't go for it. The fact that you went pool first, you're suddenly like, oh, my economy's not quite as good as it could have been.
We see the extra gateways coming for Dia now, whereas Ro8 went, of course, into the double hatch pretty fast after that, just now adding his own gas. And with the... I mean, this is basically exactly what we saw in the game between Symbol and Rain earlier.
Yeah, it is.
It might go a little bit different. I certainly hope it does, because if not, then we're in for a very, very short game.
He's going to actually scout it pretty quickly. He has an Overlord and a Zergling going up there right now, but that's a good pylon placement.
Yeah.
This is... You know what? It's so funny to see this build coming back in a rotation in the last week or so. It's weird, but okay, 20 Lings started. Bam, there you go. That's exactly what you need to be doing. You have to just flood Lings out to deal with this.
Exactly. Now we have the units in the game, and Ro8 knows exactly there's something coming. He had the Zergling on top of the ramp. He saw all the gateways, so he knows what's going on here. And he doesn't know exactly where the pylon is. Now he's going to find out, but he's moving in with all of the Zealots immediately. Here comes the Warpin on the other hand.
But you know what? There's a couple ways that this can go still. This can go where Deer doesn't do this, or Deer does it so carefully that he forces, like, so many Zerglings, like 50, 60 Zerglings. That can happen, like having 9, 10 Zealots out there. So we'll see. 24 more Lings on the way. So yeah, he's already going up to almost 60 Zerglings.
He has a lot, and we have probes building for Dia, so he really just baits out a lot of units at this point. Has a few Zealots. You know, the way he controls the Zealots is actually very smart. You're always in a position where he can block off the choke point, and then the Lings will only have such a small surface area that the numbers don't really matter.
This is just going to be mass Zergling against mass Zealot right now. When speed finishes, he can deal with it a bit better. But look at this. The Zealot's actually getting into a nice position, but this will allow for a big flank.
Yeah, but here, this is the problem, that we only have a few units at the front, and the Zergling numbers don't really matter all that much in this situation.
Well, the Zergling's continuing to flood in. He's made a lot of them, but these Zealots, there are so many Zealots out here, and they have dealt with it. They're going to take out this third base.
Look how many Lings he's building. He's sacrificing so much lava for this.
There's just no drones out.
It's already absolutely worth it. 25 harvests against 36 at this point. And here comes the tech, but the Zealots are still going to town. That Mothership Core is absolutely killing it here.
And these Zealots continue to kill off Lings. Now, he may end up being able to kill off the Zealots over time. Well, 18 more Lings coming out, speed finishing up.
You know, at some point he's going to run out of lava if that continues. The Queen is helping out now at the third base. There is no inject. There's
He's only got one queen.
Yeah. Exactly, there's only one nano inject.
Oh man, this is so rough.
With another round of warp-ins,
you may as well.
Dia will
I feel
definitely
like
take this base.
This is almost GG timing right now, to be honest. 20 more Lings on the way. Like, what do you even do?
Dad, it's 40 harvesters against 25 already. He cannot build drones.
He's got a robo as well.
Any harvesters.
He's got a robo. He's going to lose the third hatch. He's got no economy. He's got one queen total. This Mothership Core isn't going anywhere.
I want to see how many kills the Mothership Core has, to be honest with you. That has been around for a long time now, and more Zealots are coming in.
14 kills.
14 kills, and there's the third Zagona, and we have 25 harvesters against 42 now in favor of the Protoss player. The Robo is there. We have the first Immortals in the game. This is looking really bad for Ro8.
Yeah, in fact, Ro8 right now, I think what's going through his head is like, oh my god, I look just like Symbol right now. This is brutal.
Ro8 is currently thinking about if he should type the GG in caps or not.
Does he do it in Korean or does he do it in English?
That's the biggest choice that he has to think about at this point.
Just about. Well, look at this. He's going to go ahead and do a big flank on these Zealots.
I like that, but still.
Yeah.
Mothership Core does now have energy.
He could do a recall.
Could do, but he doesn't even have to. He's trading well here.
Oh man. It's brutal. It's so brutal. And the thing is, making Immortals after this, okay, GG.
Okay, he decided to not go for caps.
Yeah. The lowercase, I think, is actually better.
Yeah, I agree. That was a good decision that he made.
You know what? The thing is, he didn't even really do stuff wrong there. But let's go back and take a look at what the opener was. The opener was a pool first. His economy was a little bit behind. He couldn't quite produce as many as he really needed. This is an unfortunate consequence when you're going through the rock, paper, scissors of the openings on a 4-player map.
Yeah, it definitely is, and he got the worst end of it. I mean, there was not a whole lot you could do. The micro that we saw and the positioning for the Zealots was just great. He always made sure that the Zerglings did get the surround, that they didn't get the surface area that he wanted. And in a lot of the fights, we had so many Zerglings just blocked completely useless at the end. And the first real surround that we saw was all the way at the end when he decided to just flank with half of his army.
Yeah.
That move a bit earlier in the game, maybe.
Maybe. Well, the next map is Frost. Ro8 is going to have to do it here, or he's dead. Yes, it's best of 5, but I feel like this map is going to be the map that he needs to win on to have any chance against Deer.
Yeah.
And you can't really judge his skill by that last game, by the way. That's rough. You know what? You got bad on the build orders. Deer executed it perfectly. When you actually get all those Zealot Orphans like that, there's no stopping it.
We're jumping into game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Ro8 going up against Dia. Here's the life on the line in the tournament. Game number 2 between those two, and let's see who can take it. Will we have another 2-0 lead for the Protoss player, or is the Zerg coming back? Get the HOT6ix CUP with a total